Podcasting 101. Over here we got Cary Gordon with Metal Geeks. Cary's been podcasting since 2005. He's one of the original heavy metal podcasts to come out of the gate. MSR Cast. It was the first podcast and it's still going strong to this day on Metal Injection Radio. Hey,
I farted. Me.
Hello.
I was hungry.
MSR Cast is a heavy metal music show where Cary and his co-host, Jim Metal Geek, play lots of metal and discuss the bands between sets. It was discovered soon after Jim Metal Geek joined last year that they had much more in common than just metal, and they would go off on wild tangents about their geeky topics. This is how Metal Geeks was formed in comic books, heavy metal, movies, TV, video games, and lots of other geekery. And we have JD and Will, two ninjas, one podcast, the Ninjaverse.
Just JD.
Yeah, Will couldn't get out of the Garden State, so they kept him there.
My voice is too strong. The Ninjaverse hosts two shows, Converse in the Ninjaverse and Two Ninjas of One podcast. They cover the nerdy news from movies, comics, TV, and games to obscure bits you won't hear on other places. And they do it all with a smile on their face and jaded cynicism in their hearts. Tony and James, the surly nerd, longtime friends and listeners to many a podcast. Tony and James decided to take their barroom rants over the ether airwaves of the internets and the hopes of others enjoyed listening to their dorky diatribes as much as they like listening to themselves. The Surly Nerd is a conglomeration of esoteric topics that speak to their souls, such as comic books, movies, television, and finally the current state of the gaming industry. Tony produces the show, handling all the complicated parts such as volume levels and equipment, while James is the show's writer and keeps the flow and the format going as smoothly as possible. When he's not being kept busy, Tony is checking and misusing words like esoteric. Then we have Bryan McBallz Lombardi.
It's me.
And Michael RoninPhan of Ultness.
Ohio.
Ultness is a geek culture group centered around film, TV, and gaming. Founded a pool of shared interests. They generate online content such as discussions, event coverage, and internet shenanigans. I like shenanigans. Ultness is based in Houston area, and their goal is to create content that engages and enriches the community, movies, television, games, and everything geeky. I see there's a lot of lines that cross in all the podcasts here. So, first person next to me, I'm going to ask, what was your initiative to start podcasting?
Well, me and Mike here, we came together and said, hey, let's start recording, We get in a lot of crazy discussions.
We seem smart.
I wouldn't say that. But, it's just a shared interest. This guy's got a long background in film, and we started as an audio podcast, and we decided to go video. And we've been that way ever since.
That's the cameras.
Yeah, that's why there's cameras. That's us.
And JD's, while being part of Ninjaverse and his own podcast, Two Ninjas One Podcast, he's also part of Ultness as well.
Yeah, I got sucker punched into doing this gig because I was amongst the original talkings and stuff like that. And flipping to the Ninjaverse, I had me and Will, unfortunately Will's not here, Will and I used to play Xbox a lot.
There we go.
Cary.
Cary, it was me. What's wrong with you?
You're just too high.
Anyway. Me and Ninja used to play Xbox a lot, and we had a group of people that would always show up in our lobby, and we would literally have people just listen to us play video games and stuff, and everyone was like, hey man, why don't you make a podcast? I'm like, I guess. So Ninja got a $25 gift card. He was like, hey man, I established the website, let's do this. So I got roped into that, and we've been recording for about a year.
All right, Cary, when did you get started, and what got you into it?
Originally started back in 2005. There was only a couple other heavy metal podcasts out there at the time, and I looked into it, and I figured, hey, I can do that. Had a different co-host for the first 7 years, and last year I got a new co-host, and the format didn't change, but we started talking about other things that weren't really metal during the episode, so we tried to figure out what we were going to do, so we decided to just start another podcast. So we started Metal Geek so we could still talk about metal news and that kind of stuff, but go into, comic books and video games and all the other geeky stuff we're into, and hooked up with Ultness recently, and it's been all good.
And for the Surly Nerds, what got you guys into podcasting?
Want to field this one?
Sure. We sit at bars a lot, drinking and talking about nerdy shit. And then
Basically, our friends got tired of listening to us talk about this shit over and over again at bars. And they're just like, why don't you guys make a podcast and just stop harassing us with it?
so now we harass them with the podcast.
Pretty much. And we were also told that we couldn't do it, which is pretty much what got us
He
started.
told us we couldn't do it, so we had to.
Now you can harass people on a global level.
Yes, that's what we do.
Blame her.
All right, the next one's going to be more technical. Starting here, what kind of equipment do you guys use to record?
He's the technical guy. Don't you take that?
So I graduated from the media production department at U of H. So my background is usually in media broadcast and filming. I always wanted to, of course, work with media production. So Bryan approached me. He established Ultness like a year or two before, but he hadn't approached me with the idea yet. And he said, "If we're gonna, I want you to be a part of it." And I said, "Sure." For me, I had one camera at the time. I had an EX3. I'm slowly graduating to 3 Sony EX3s, which record on S/S cards. By the way, Sony and their proprietary BS is outrageous. Each of the cards costs $500 a pop. So there's a heavy investment when you're working into this. And so we do a stereotypical 3-camera shoot. José Vazquez back there on camera 2. He helped me build the set. If you get a chance, check it out. We're still continuing to build our set and improve upon it and stuff like that. Trick with shooting video is you need a lot of light. So it's the lighting that hurts my booty the most when it comes to purchasing. But beyond that, mics, we have 4 wired lav mics that we use on set, but whatever is, you do what you need to do to get the job done. On the other hand, you have just recently started using Google Hangout for Ninjaverse.
At first, we were like, hey, let's try this out on our laptops. And we got onto Skype and realized how much Skype sucks on our laptops. So we would start the podcast, and about 5 minutes later, someone would drop, and we try reconnecting it again, and we're like, all right, let's try hardwiring in, or maybe shut off all the electronics in the house and plug right into the modem, and that didn't work. So later on after that, we tried doing Google Hangouts, and that's actually working out really well. For just a technical aspect of it, I'm a gamer, obviously, so we had a couple Turtle Beaches. I have an X12, and which one do you have?
I have the same one.
Yeah, the same one. No, it's not too expensive. If you could go the extra mile for it, it's super worth it. But hooking that up to there and then using Google Hangout with nobody else downloading, it works out fine.
Plus, you could put faces on yourself.
Yeah.
And Cary, what do you guys use for recording your stuff?
Just like what JD said, we started using Google Hangouts sometime last year. I record everything into Audacity, which is a great open source software where you can just record. But I was having to do a lot of editing, post-editing, and it was taking 10, 12 hours to edit like a 2-hour show. It was just getting too much. So Google Hangouts, we both have good mics. I have a Blue microphone, the Blue Snowball. It gets a really good sound. And through the audio through the sound card in your computer into Google Hangouts, you can get a really good sound. It's not perfect, but it does the job.
And the guys in the end?
So basically, my living room is a sound studio because Tony and I live in the same apartment complex, and so we've slowly been converting my living room into a sound studio. Tony, what's the tech stuff?
When we first started, we actually just had a pretty decent webcam, and we just used Audacity, used the webcam, and it sounded horrible. And I couldn't take it anymore, so...
Don't ever listen to those earlier episodes, I swear.
I was like, all right, then I started just researching different models of microphones and mixing boards. So I just grabbed a 4-slot mixing board. It's got 4 XLR ports. I can't remember the name of the company. It's not that great. But the microphone's really the most important thing. And I chose AT2020s from Audio-Technica. They're less than $100, and they sound better than just about any other microphone for the same price. So they're really cheap for an XLR mic. And spider mounts to put around the microphones, and it's this crazy, ridiculous setup it literally looks like a recording studio.
We've got pop filters, all that stuff.
Yeah, that's actually pop filters are really useful because you don't realize how much mouth noise you make.
That's true.
To add on to what you said, yeah, people don't realize that audio is more important than visual, actually. You could sit there and watch a horribly quality video, but if it's bad audio, you can't understand anything, people will turn it off immediately. So audio is technically more important than video.
Agreed.
That's true in fan films as well.
Yeah.
And coming back here to Ultness, do you have any tips for podcasters who want to just get out there and throw everything on the internet?
Well, we had some interesting stories when we first started podcasting with just audio. You want to discuss some of that, Bryan?
Which story?
Was it Blueberry?
Oh, well, that's not really interesting, but I would say that don't think that podcasting is some elite society that you need to fight to get into. Anybody can podcast.
Actually, since we started podcasting, the podcasting community has been so good and so welcoming, and everybody's been like, hey, like, we'll cross-promote. We went to a gathering in Austin recently, and they were just like, hey, we'll promote you on our show. You know, we'd love to, have our fans go between the two, so...
Yeah, and I would definitely recommend to get started, listen with, whatever you like, listen to what else is out there, get a feel for, what people are talking about and how they talk about it.
Just do research.
Do a little research just to understand how it is out there. But essentially, if you buy a decent mic, you can, start recording, get together with a buddy of yours or someone with some shared interests, and then just have a go at it and see what happens.
We had several goes at it, late at night.
Yeah, find a niche that somebody hasn't really done yet, and if it's something that you enjoy doing, go for it. I mean, it doesn't really cost that much money the big amount is, buying the equipment up front and then the hosting fee. But don't give up. That's the hard part. When you don't get frustrated by numbers and listenership, just keep on doing what you love doing. That's the most important thing.
One of the first pieces of advice that we were ever given as we got into podcasting, because we talked to several successful podcasts, and they said the number one thing to keep into consideration is that you should do this for yourself. You should have fun. And at the end of the day, you're not trying to please anybody but yourselves. And as long as you're having fun, keep doing it.
Yep.
I completely agree with that. Pleasing yourself is probably the most important thing.
So besides Google, is there any centralized location to find all the different podcasts that are available?
iTunes.
Yeah, subscribe on iTunes, leave reviews, good or bad, doesn't matter.
Stitcher also, people that have Android phones or just want to listen to it on their computer, Stitcher's also a great way to find podcasts.
Ultness, I'm through, Metal Geeks is through Ultness, and MSRcast is been through Metal Injection Radio, so it's metalinjection.net. But both of those are available on iTunes, and just, if you find a show, we're normal people, so feedback is more than welcome. We like to hear from you.
You can find us on the YouTubes. I've heard YouTubes.
The sequel to YouTube?
Yes.
So how do you guys actually know each other? Everything seems to be in a similar vein, a lot of geeky stuff.
I know this guy from 2000, early 2000s.
2001.
Met him through a friend. We've been hanging out ever since. So
Yeah.
There's nothing special.
It's a bromance.
Match.com.
Beyond the stars.
Now kiss.
You? And then later on, we met through another friend, Juliano, who was originally living in Florida at the time. Came over to visit his friend, and we kind of hooked up and just started talking similar things.
Yeah, it's a mutual friend, Grant. He used to live here in Houston when he was a teenager and hang out with these guys. So when I was moving from Florida to here, I was like, yeah, I've got an uncle that lives in Houston. He goes, oh, you gotta meet these guys. So literally, I moved here and then flew back just a road trip with him back over here so he can meet up with the old friends. So, and I know Cary through our mutual friend Tig, that guy with the hand.
That one guy with
He's only got one hand?
He has two hands, actually.
There it is.
There you go.
Confirmed. It's confirmed.
I used to know, I used to. He's a good friend of mine. Wait for respawn. We used to work at GameStop together, and I believe you used to work with Cary at GameStop.
I worked with you at one point, too.
Yeah, that was like Christmas sometime. So, and yeah, through video games, I know all three of these guys.
It's always through video games.
Yeah.
And I've known these guys, I've known James for 10 plus years,
Yeah,
something like that.
definitely.
I just met this guy yesterday, so. But feels like 10 years already.
Yeah, definitely. Welcome to every day of my life. Prior to his life in podcasting, Tony was actually a troll living under a bridge.
It's true. It's true.
And that's pretty much how I found him and decided he'd be a good podcast partner. No, seriously, give him a...
We've known each other for 10 years?
Yeah,
and then
longer.
I'm surprised actually I didn't know Cary before. We probably actually ran into each other
Probably
before
so.
thanks to
Yep.
These guys with the hands.
they're cosplaying as each other, by the way. And yeah, that's
All right, this is the most important question of the entire panel. Pirates or ninjas?
Pirates.
Why don't you start us off, JD?
I will see you afterwards. By the way, that's a loaded question.
I'll be the voice of opposition here since Kristina's sitting down there. Pirates have fun. Ninjas live a secluded life of discipline.
But pirates also have scurvy.
Well, they eat vitamin
That's why
C.
they have
I don't think I've ever seen a pirate eat an orange.
You've seen a pirate? Oh, never mind. Let's go to the next one.
Does wine have vitamin C? Or maybe rum?
You can see a pirate, but you can never see a ninja.
Exactly.
By association, I am a ninja. Obviously.
Genetics?
Good.
Yeah. Pre-built with kung fu grip. Cary.
I like ninja pirates.
Oh.
Oh, that's a cop-out.
He's a child of two worlds.
A little bit.
So is that like Chow Yun-Fat from that Pirates movie?
Exactly.
He died in that one, didn't he?
Yeah, he
Yes.
did pretty easily too.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Not a very good ninja pirate.
Is no one really going to say the zombies are better than all of them? Really? Zombies? Anybody?
Just had to be different, didn't you?
Walking Dead killed zombies.
Gotta be different.
Aliens greater than all.
If I've had my choice, I would
Aliens
say a
versus
Cyberdyne Model T800 robot.
Robot.
No ponies.
No ponies.
No,
No
ponies.
ponies.
This is not that panel. Get out.
Like, who's a brony? All right.
Nobody? Bueller? All right, now going on. So for Ultness, what would be your fantasy broadcast?
Ooh, fantasy broadcast. Brian.
Well,
you
besides
have-
from the Hefner Mansion.
that was it. Damn it.
No, I guess it would have to be. Oh, I don't have a good answer for that. Anything that has all my favorite interests in one place.
Like Dragon Con, maybe?
Like Comicpalooza.
Yeah, like Comicpalooza, obviously.
Nice.
How's everyone doing today, by the way?
I know it's so quiet in here.
This guy yawned back here. That's awesome.
I like the Meg cosplay.
I know.
I thought that was really good.
Wait,
That's my name.
what's? She's like, what's cosplay? This is Saturday.
This is my normal clothes.
I am Meg.
I am.
Okay. Well.
There you go.
For fantasy podcast?
Fancy podcasting. I don't know. Doing a live set in, I don't know, E3 would have been really, really cool. I mean, just bumping elbows with a lot of video game developers or get to play new games that are coming out.
I figured Tokyo for the ninja.
Yeah. Or we're talking about places?
Yeah, whatever
Yeah,
event.
Tokyo Game Show.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome, except I wouldn't know what anyone's talking about.
You should like cook.
Everything would have been Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And be like, damn it, it's another card game.
You should co-cast on that ninja show. What are they? Those dudes are running around jumping in the
Ninja
water.
Warriors.
Yeah, that thing. Yeah, like you speak English and the other guy's like, whoa.
And I'll translate it real bad. He's like, and he fell into the water.
Well,
Splash.
you'll get a chance to commentate when there's a Pokemon battle going on here, cosplay battle. So you could do that, just the announcer voices. Oh my God! As soon as they throw a ball.
He chose Harden. Ah!
I just want you to carry a bag full of Pokeballs and just walk by, just go, mine, mine. What about you, Cary?
I don't know. I've done a lot of great interviews over my career. I love talking to bands that I'm really big fans of on the phone, and I like to devote just not like a small part of an interview. I'd like devote a whole episode, like talk about their whole career and play music. And I don't know.
Is there any band that particularly you're trying to grab?
No, I've over my career I've interviewed mostly everybody I want to.
Well, now you're done. You can retire. All right. Podcast
You're done. You
Game
won.
over, man. Game over.
Except your band, man.
Oh yeah. Our
When you get-
fantastic
when you get
band.
to-
He's got a boy
Why
band.
don't you name drop, man? Who have you interviewed? I want to hear about this.
Well, the last two episodes was Orphan Land from Israel, which was really cool. Iced Earth was right before that.
Have you
I like
done
Dice Earth.
Breaking
That's
Benjamin?
cool.
I like to interview a lot of local bands, try to spotlight local stuff too. It's just, I don't know.
What about the Surly Nerd at the end? What would your fantasy podcast be?
Coming to you live from inside Kristina Hendrick's bedroom, this is The Surly Nerd.
Yeah.
I'll videotape.
Not at the same time.
Definitely. I mean, we're good friends and all, but we actually had a really great experience this year that we went to the Game Developers Conference in Austin, and if it gets better than that, I don't know, because everybody there was so inviting and just willing to talk about their projects, and it was just a great environment to be around. I mean, we have the dreams like we want to go to E3, sure. We'd love to go to Gamescom, mostly to go to Germany and drink beer.
Yeah, I want to go to Gamescom.
Beer
just to go
fest,
to Germany
alright.
and drink beer.
But really, I mean,
you
just,
almost went to PAX East this past year too.
Yeah, I missed out on that.
Oh.
Yeah.
since we're only
Kinda
a year
extra
old,
poor.
we're revving up into season 2 right now, and so now we're kind of making the bigger plans. Season 1 was get this shit off the ground and actually do it. Season 2 is okay, we're doing it now. How can we make it better, basically? And basically we would love to go to E3, love to go to Gamescom, but more importantly, I think we want to go to the main Game Developers Conference out in San Francisco. We've been invited to, we just haven't been able to go yet.
All right. So we've heard similar stories of what's similar to your podcast. What's different about each of your podcasts?
Well, I think out of everyone here, we're the only one that do a video podcast, and there's a leap in difficulty when doing video, of course, because now everyone's got to get their makeup on, and correlating.
I need more mascara.
Yeah, especially Bryan. We definitely have difficulty getting people together all at once, so we actually do recording sessions where we record 4 to 6 episodes in one session. And thanks to people on the camera crew right now, like Sacha back here. And then we have Fernando over there, and José and Mike helping us run camera and editing each episode. It becomes pretty difficult just because we have to grab the footage also. So if we're talking about for a game, for example, we have to find permissions and stuff like that. So it's not easy. And thanks to all of them, it made my life a little easier. So
You can sleep now.
no, I don't. There's still a lot of work to do. But yeah, unfortunately, I stayed up late last night making a trailer for us, and now we can't play it because projector's missing.
Name's Mom.
Someone stole a projector?
I think a ninja did it.
Yeah, Ninja did it.
So Ninja, what's different about your podcast?
Usually it's me and Will and me and Ninja. By the way, our gamer tags are S3 Prototype and Half-Ass Ninja. That's how we got the whole Ninjaverse thing going, was after Ninja. What makes us different is we read the news and we don't want to regurgitate it out to you, but almost want to be a voice to what other people think at the same time. Recently with the Xbox One deal, plenty of people are irate about it, and we feel your pain. So, hoping that our podcast, what Xbox? But, we see your pain. We're hoping we're a platform to that particular, voice. We're not exactly your opinion altogether, but, we poke jokes back and forth at each other. We try being not as informative, but more of just a conversation, which pretty much you guys would have been interested about.
Yeah, I find you pretty entertaining most of the time.
So what was the
stop watching me.
controversy? Was it, instead of naming it 720, they named it Xbox One?
Yeah, they named it Xbox One to be, quarter around you, the one person.
The all-in-one system.
Yeah.
It's better than 720, honestly. That was a crap
Which
title.
doesn't make sense because 360 is like around and the 720 you do another spin.
Right.
Yeah, it's
They spinning. My
Sounds like skater language to me.
There's nothing great about it. You're just getting dizzy.
It's more red rings than Xbox One.
Yeah, they got rid of the red ring, obviously, for
Not the
controversy.
green ring.
Now, yeah.
So, Cary, what do you have that's different? I know you do the music thing, so I'm assuming that's going to be different.
Well, MSRcast, mostly it's about the music. So between songs, we play sets of songs, and then we discuss and opinionate about the bands or things like that. I think the main difference is me and my co-host, JM Metal Geek, we both have a major lisp. So sometimes it's hard to differentiate between us. So
All right.
I never really noticed until you really pointed it.
So the Surleys,
there's some jackass had to put in the word lisp with an S in it. That's just so mean.
so Surleys, what do you guys do that it's actually different than the other podcasts?
Well, listening to Tony talk is listening to somebody talk about the state of the video game industry that is a high-functioning alcoholic. So there's that.
Functioning what?
Do
not
drink
an
minimum.
alcoholic. I'm a drunk. There's a difference.
I should introduce you guys to a buddy of mine. His gamer tag is somewhat sober.
Very good name.
That's how they record.
I'd like to think that part of what we really bring is that, first off, we are in the same room when we record. We have years and years of experience just talking to one another. So I like
Years of experience in talking. That's what you need to make a
That's-
podcast.
that's-
That's
exactly
pretty
what
much
you
key
need.
to everything.
That is key to your podcast.
You must be able to talk.
But mostly
No, it really is. That's true.
yeah. I would like to think the flow of the conversation and the humor that we inject into our podcast definitely shines through, and that
We have differing opinions about a lot of things, which is really good. Not if you had a show where everybody just said the exact same thing, agreed. That's just a bunch of people agreeing. You're not having a discussion. You're not having a talk. You're just
Yeah,
oh, that's nice.
It's best when people have opposing opinions.
Yeah.
That way
Yeah.
you can fully
Even if
flesh
we
out the
don't
argument.
believe in the opposing opinion, I just like to argue
Yeah.
about anything. I don't care what it is.
As long as you don't say, "No, you're wrong."
Arguing.
pretty much.
you
One of the things that we do on our show is our show's broken into levels because everything's based around an
video
RPG,
game.
basically. So we have level 1, 2, and 3, and at the very end we do what's called drinks at the end. And the Surly Nerd was actually inspired by the idea of like having a tavern called the Surly Nerd. And so drinks at the end was really about like the adventurers have come home for the day. They're all sitting around the campfire, or they're sitting around the fire at the bar, and they want to just talk about something. And so our levels, like we'll do game industry news and entertainment news and all that stuff. But drinks at the end is our discussion time. So every week I come up with something for us to just kind of debate about. And it's usually something related to the industry, but it's not necessarily news related. So we can talk about TV shows that we like and don't like, music, things like that.
Also, with our podcast being video, we also rotate hosts, and we have several of our friends that show up. It's not just me and Bryan. I mean, we got Kristina here, who's actually dressed up. That way, we have some estrogen level on it and even us out. We also have Sacha will eventually be on the show. Upcoming show, we want to do DC versus Marvel movie franchises. Why
Sweet.
one is doing better than the other. I'm a DC guy, so I'm sad. Yeah, Green Lantern.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. That was the best movie ever. Not.
But we have a rotation of eclectic people. It's not just Bryan and I.
All right, so I don't know how all of your co-hosting is set up, but what are some of the difficulties you would have if your co-host is in actually a different location or a different city?
I guess me and you can answer that one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we record in my living room.
Well, Ninja's not here again, so
He's invisible.
Yeah,
He's a real ninja.
he's actually right there.
Now he's over there.
Oh, there he goes. No, Will's a big dude.
They're saying
He
he's fat.
traces the donuts to see where he left off.
Instead of a log appearing, it's just a box of donuts.
Just a box of Krispy Kremes. Like, that's the real trick. It's scheduling is the biggest problem that we have. Since Ninja does 2 podcasts, Conversing the Ninjaverse as well as 2 Ninjas, 1 podcast, scheduling is a real hard thing to do. He's a family man. The 2 other guys on Conversing the Ninjaverse, they're also family guys too, so their family comes first before recording. Me working with them is a matter of, hey, do you want to record? Because I lived with them too. But living in a different state is scheduling, finding out if your partner is still, reading into content that you guys want to talk about, and communication is huge. If you don't have communication, if you're talking about something and he has no idea what I'm talking about, it's a one-way street when it comes to conversation.
Yeah. I totally agree. It's the scheduling is the biggest hurdle because my co-host lives in Florida now. I used to have one that lived here, but we almost 2 years ago switched over. John Michael, Metal Geek, used to do a podcast on metal injection as well, and we just sort of teamed up together. But recently, it's been scheduling. I just finished school, and he changing times for his job, and it's just not been easy to get together, and his computer broke. So it's sort of hard to record without him being able to actually record his audio.
You guys should do it by carrier pigeon.
Yeah, I was about to say, use carrier pigeons.
Carrier pigeon would be cool. It would just take a long time to get the
And
episode
John
done.
says,
All right, I guess we're going to throw it out to the audience for Q&A for the podcasters.
just real quick with, communication is huge. Don't always wait till the last day to be like, all right, this is what we're going to talk about. Have frequent conversations with your person, because that's
Don't
when
you
you start
even look at me.
generating, jokes, and you can start generating other content in between your actual topics.
Yeah.
So when it comes to recording day, you guys are, well practiced. You just let it go, and
It needs to feel natural too.
yeah, because if it's scripted, it's like, so what games did you play today? Oh, nothing. And nobody wants to hear that.
No.
I don't even like hearing it from you right now.
One of the big differences from episode 1 to where we are now in our show is that I've become more comfortable with reading notes. So like if you listen to the early episodes, which you shouldn't, I'm literally like reading a script. And it's boring and it's horrible.
Yeah.
And then now that we're a year out, like it flows much more natural, and you can't really tell as often when I'm reading from show notes to just
Yeah.
Practice reading aloud,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah, we sort of changed it up because we used to have every single about the article written down. We would go through it. Now we just have the topic idea,
Yeah, that's what I do now.
and it makes it flow a little bit natural. We just read the article beforehand or whatever it is, and you don't want to feel like a robot.
Preparation really is key when it comes to these things, especially if you're reporting on the news, because you don't want to just be pulling articles from a website and rereading what somebody's already published. The point of it is you're supposed to have an opinion, and also educate yourself on your topic.
You need to have an informed opinion, though.
Yeah.
All right, so we got a short amount of time here. If anyone has questions, raise your hands, and we'll get our big, beautiful black Vanna White right here to walk around. Any questions? Hustle.
He's an extra.
It also helps if you take your co-hosts out for dinner and dancing. You got to build that chemistry.
Oh, you.
This is for the Surly Nerd. Where's Jay right now?
Oh, somebody who listens to the show. Jay is our other host, who is currently down in the artist gallery. If you look for it's Ghost House?
Yeah, he
Ghost
does
House.
Ghost House.
Yes.
He's an amazing artist. He's down there selling prints,
selling
and
prints.
his wares. He's down there with some really awesome guys from Austin that we all came up with. And yeah,
He's actually not out saving the world this week. He is actually here doing
he's
things.
actually here. Normally he's out saving the world because he can only show up every so often.
Yeah, he's becoming more comfortable with the show, and I think after last night, he's going to start coming on more often because apparently people really like his accent. So, Oh, it's you! It's our fan! It's our fan! We were wondering who you were.
It's not your mom.
Right?
Go ahead.
I was planning just to use iTunes for my place to put all my podcasts, and I briefly looked at all the stuff on how to do it on their page.
It's super confusing.
It's crazy.
It is.
Do you have to actually have some sort of website or URL for them to pull from?
Yes.
Okay, and I don't have a lot of podcasts I listen to have their own websites, so I assume that's just how they do it.
Yes.
If I don't want to do that, is there another way to do that?
Actually, you don't have to have a website to have a podcast. There are hosting sites.
Yeah.
Some of them that come to the top of my head are Podbean.
Libsyn. There's a couple. Podbean is not good. It's cheap. You get what you pay for, basically. Libsyn is what I've been using for MSRcast for about 9 years. Podbean is what we use for Metal Geeks, and no.
There's also Blueberry.
Yeah.
These are basically hosting sites that will allow you pay a fee every couple months, and you're allowed to upload your audio to them.
You pay by your storage space. So if you pay $15 a month, you get 250 megs of storage. But it can be unlimited downloads from there.
And by the way, Blueberry is misspelled. They have a weird spelling on it, so when you look it up,
it's really weird spelling.
yeah, it's BLRRY. But
We're not sponsored by them, so.
yeah, no. But the way it works is once you upload there, iTunes, once you set up an account with them saying that you're connected to Blueberry, it will read an RSS feed from every time you upload, and it'll check it every 5 minutes, I think. Or
I don't even know if it's that frequent.
yeah, and it'll automatically upload it. But I tell you this right now: if you do it on iTunes like you plan to, you need to download a software called ID3 Tag, and design a cover art for your podcast.
I do a cover art for every episode, and once you upload it to your server, iTunes will, once you publish it, iTunes will pick it up if you have it set up correctly.
So it's the RSS feed that's key to make it all functional.
What all Apple's doing is grabbing any RSS feed and putting it on their site.
That kind of kills my next idea, which was I was just going to upload it. Some people have them just as a long YouTube audio file. And I was going to see if that would work.
You don't have to use iTunes if you don't really
I would
want
prefer
to.
to. That's what
okay.
Unless you guys would know better.
I know
that's
some
what
of
I've
the-
always used ever since I started listening to podcasts. So I just assumed that would be.
You can use a Zune
default.
marketplace.
Huh?
That's not a thing.
It's,
That's not a thing, Cary.
Actually, we decided just to use YouTube, even through Fernando, our friend over there, also does. He's part of our crew. He also does Unlimited Pancakes, which is a geek version of basketball, because he's really deep into basketball. The reason why we use YouTube, we get ad revenues. We get enough, we're retiring.
Not only that, but the statistics are more up to date.
Yeah,
the
they
view
go.
counts, the likes. More people will tend to visit YouTube and comment there versus going into iTunes and writing reviews on your podcast.
And on all he has is his episode number and artwork for his podcast, and that's it. No video playing on it at all.
Don't
So,
take this the wrong way, but that was my one question, and I would help you too.
okay, thank you. No problem.
Cool.
Go ahead, sir.
What do you guys do to increase listenership or viewership on your podcast? What kind of strategies do you use?
Pray.
Social media plays a big part.
Facebook like crazy.
Offering
Yeah.
money.
And networking is a big thing. The more people you could talk to and ask them to promote you, the better. We don't just do podcasts. Also, we do news packages where we cover different. Like for example, last week, 2 weeks ago, we did a Texas Frightmare Weekend. We did an 8-minute package on it. Got to talk to some celebs. We're doing that here. Hopefully, by the end of this week, we'll have.
Nice package too.
Thank you. We'll have a 1-hour-long episode on Comicpalooza, roughly around that time, and broken up into different packages. But Texas TXR Paintball, Kristina is a big contributor to that group. So we did a package on Greg Hastings. He's a major paintball player, and he liked our video and put it on his YouTube, not his YouTube, his Facebook account and his website, and it blew up.
A lot of word of mouth.
Yeah.
Well, And then, if you're just talking about spreading awareness of your podcast, you can also do a little bit of research and looking into different communities or websites that talk about your topic. Reddit. There's of course forums for whatever topic you're talking about. But getting to know the way the community works and that culture, and befriending people there, just getting to know people is really a big part. And when you get to know someone, you kind of be like, hey, look, I got this show and you got this. How about we cross promote each other?
Yeah, your fans, the people that you like have fans too, and your fans have fans also. Right. It's getting to know your people, getting the community that you're in, find a niche, talk to people, say, hey, I've got this podcast, hey, I've got this YouTube channel, check it out. And one day he's probably gonna look at his desk and be like, oh look, let me look this up. And it flows through. It's you have to pimp out your shit all the time.
Fanception.
One of the things that you have to rely on, and it's just a truth of it, is Twitter. Most of the people once you start your interview process, the person you interviewed is most likely going to tweet about the fact that you just interviewed them. And then once you actually have their episode up, you would then have to tweet them to let them know they can push it out. And it's just kind of this chain of tweets over and over again.
Never stop pimping.
Yeah, pretty much.
Never.
My hand gets tired, but can't stop it.
Well, we got 5 more minutes. Is there any more questions? We have one more back over there. Oh, no?
She was just
No, sure.
We got 5 more minutes? Okay. Should we do shameless self-promotions? What can we find Surly Nerd on?
Oh, God, I'm not saying it. You have to say this for once.
No.
I say it every episode.
No way, you're going to say it.
Your voice is louder.
All right, so thesurlynerd.com. Thesurlynerd@gmail.com is our email address. Twitter is @thesurlynerd. Facebook.com/thesurlynerd. Find us on iTunes, and if you still have a Zune Marketplace thing, we're apparently still on there.
We are, for all 5 of you Zoom.
Wow.
There's 3 people in this room I know that still use Zune Marketplace, so it is possibly a thing.
I'm surprised there's one in this room who uses Zune Marketplace.
Surprised
You don't
there's
have a
one.
MySpace account? No MySpace account?
MySpace
No.
doesn't exist.
That's not a thing.
Yeah, you said Facebook. That's MySpace now.
Yeah, that's the new version of it.
Pretty much.
MySpace is a cesspool of brats and glitter gifs.
It's living in Austin. Actually, during South by Southwest, MySpace does a musical thing every year,
Really?
and they get crazy bands. Like last year, they had Prince and Justin Timberlake and all this stuff because they're trying to redo the MySpace branding.
Good luck to them.
MySpace got purchased by Justin Timberlake. He's one of the owners of it. So he's
okay.
he's redoing it as a music sharing social site.
What it originally was supposed to be anyway was a music site.
Right. Cary, what about you?
You can find us. msrcast.com is our encompassing blog. You can find links to all of our episodes there. Metalinjection.net, Ultness.com, Twitter, msrcast, and The Metal Geeks. Somebody actually had Metal Geeks before. Bastards.
I know.
Facebook and Twitter and iTunes and all that stuff.
Pimp your ride.
Oh my.
Oh my.
You can find us on Twitter, MySpace, Facebook, as well as, find me as S3 Prototype, no space, in the Ninjaverse, all one word. Ninjas deal, half-ass ninja, it's half-phased ninja. So they won't let us do ass in Twitter for some reason. Ultness is also hosting our podcast as well. You find us on YouTube. I think Will actually has our visual YouTube up for public, so before it's even edited and us sneezing and hacking on video, yeah, it's for your viewing pleasure. As well as, yeah, I think that's it.
Carry your vision like you said before.
You can find us on the Facey Space. If you look at the banner down here, we're definitely on, of course, altness.com. For Twitter is @altness or /altness. Facebook is /altness and YouTube /altness. So is there everything covered?
That's what you call branding.
That's all the important stuff.
Yeah, that's all the important
You
stuff.
might find some other stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, not intentionally. It was It was one weird night.
I just want to thank everybody for coming to Podcasting 101.
Thank you very much.
Thank
And,
all of you.
Thank you.
Enjoy Comicpalooza.
Hey, come tomorrow. We have our live podcast here. If you guys want to be a part of it, a Q&A, we're going to be putting it up on YouTube and as well as our own podcast. So.
Yep, we're recording a live episode of That's Alt. It's a show for Ultness.com. So please come and visit, and we'll put you on.
It's in this room tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
Same time, same bad channel, same bad time.
And for our one fan that showed up, good night and good game.
F*** you, Michael Bay.
There you go. All right.